So does that justify everything that you do?
Excuse me, let me tell you something. What do you think they were doing it for? Because they were trying to save us from poverty? No, they did it because they needed us. It's honor and family and loyalty. And some of us wanted a piece of the action. Now, we weren't educated like the Americans, but we had the balls to take what we wanted.
Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome back to another live edition of On The Go right here on Driving to the Top Productions and Dirty South Entertainment. I am your host, the Hoss of DTTP himself, Marcus. It's Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. Happy opening night, opening weekend of baseball, opening day, the main opening day tomorrow, and we got a loaded stack card for the entire weekend for all of us to enjoy, from March Madness with the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, opening weekend of Major League Baseball. Don't forget, opening weekend of the UFL. We got NASCAR. We got golf. We got college baseball, college softball. We got a stacked weekend for all of us to enjoy, and it's going to be a fun one to talk. So let's get to it, shall we? It's going to be a fun one today. You know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can find me on X at DirtySouthENT_. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. On The Go, you can find on Instagram at OnTheGo_TXLA. Driving to the Top Productions, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You know where to find them. Today's episode is presented by POGGERS, the official vitamin supplement, and Rogue Energy, the official gaming drink of On The Go. That's the promo code OTG, whether you go to poggers.shop, RogueEnergy.com, or download Rogue Energy on any mobile device. OTG gets you 10% off of your order. I figured, why don't we kick things off with March Madness, the one everyone's been watching. And I'll get a prediction later on the Sweet 16. We'll go ahead and recap the round of 32, and we'll go ahead and start with H-Town, the Houston Cougars, not having the shortest distance of going to the Sweet 16. They're only having to drive 2.8 miles to go downtown to the Toyota Center. So if your team made it to the Sweet 16, congratulations. Whether if you're playing in Houston, Chicago, D.C., or San Jose, congrats for making it to the Sweet 16. Let's see how Houston got there. It was an all-Texas battle, and it was belt to ass. They beat Texas A&M 88-57. That put the Cougars now 30-6 overall. Quick recap here. Emmanuel Sharp led in that game, 18 points with 4 rebounds, but Chris Sinnock Jr. led in rebounds with 9, ended with 17 points. Milo Suzanne led in assists with 4, but had 15 points and 4 rebounds. Kingston Flemings, in my opinion, could be the freshman of the year. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Mercy Miller, 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 3 assists against the Aggies. They move on. They're gonna be taking on the Big Ten if they can move on to the Elite Eight. It's basically Houston versus Big Ten, because they got the Fighting Illini of Illinois along with Nebraska and Iowa. We know what's next for the Cougs, but let's go ahead and quickly run down this round of 32. Michigan beat St. Louis 95-72. Michigan State beat Louisville 77-69. Duke blowing out TCU 81-58. Texas taking down Gonzaga in an upset 74-68. Illinois eliminating VCU 76-55. Nebraska shocking everyone, moving on to the Sweet 16 for the first time ever, eliminating Vanderbilt 74-72. Arkansas ending the Cinderella story for High Point 94-88 was the final in that one. And then on Sunday, the second half of the round of 32, Purdue beats Miami 79-69. Great game here, but it was all Iowa State towards the end. They eliminated Kentucky 82-63. How about St. John? Patino moving on to the Sweet 16. The legend himself takes down a familiar foe in his coaching days, beats Kansas with a final score 67-65. St. John's and Patino moving on to the Sweet 16. Tennessee eliminating Virginia 79-72. our first number 1 seed going down. Iowa eliminating the defending national champion Florida Gators, 73-72 in a nail-biter. So, unfortunately, no championship rematch in the Elite Eight between Houston and Florida. Florida's done. A new national champion will be crowned in Indianapolis. Arizona beating Utah State 78-66. UConn beating UCLA 73-57. And Alabama blowout win over Texas Tech 90-65. So we're going to go ahead and just get things started. Let's get the Sweet 16 prediction. Well, actually, before we do that, let me recap the women's round of 32 before we jump straight to the Sweet 16. And we'll start it off with, we'll go back and do the second half of the first round. I'm going to just quickly run it. You know, I didn't get to cover that when I did my midnight show. Ohio State eliminated Howard, 75-54. Louisville beat Vermont, 72-52. South Carolina eliminating Southern, 103-34. Virginia beat Georgia, 82-73 in overtime. Notre Dame beat Fairfield, 79-60. Kentucky beat James Madison, 71-56. Alabama beat Rhode Island, 68-55. UConn beat UTSA, 90-52. USC beat Clemson in overtime, 71-67. Iowa beat Fair Dickinson, 58-48. West Virginia beat Miami, Ohio, 82-54. Syracuse beat Iowa State, 72-63. Vanderbilt beat High Point, 102-61. Oklahoma beat State beat Princeton, 82-68. Illinois beat Colorado, 66-57. And UCLA beat California Baptist, 96-43. Now we get to the round of 32, and let's start with LSU. Blowout ass whooping. I didn't think they were going to cover. They were given minus 27 against Texas Tech. They beat them 101-47. They beat them a lot more by 27, and they covered. Michaela Williams led in that game, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Amina Joyner led in rebounds with 11. She also had 11 points and 1 assist. Jada Richard, 5 assists. She led in that and 10 points. Flage, her final game at the PMAC, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Kate Koval, 10 points and 10 rebounds. They ended strong at home. And for the women, they're moving on to the Sweet 16, whether you're playing in Sacramento or in Fort Worth. Congrats to those. LSU is moving on to play Duke. But let's quickly recap the women's round of 32 before we get to some Sweet 16 predictions here. North Carolina beat Maryland 74-66. Michigan beat North Carolina State 92-63. Minnesota beat Ole Miss 65-63. Duke beat Baylor 69-46. Texas beat Oregon 158. Oklahoma beat Michigan State 77-71. And TCU beat Washington in overtime 62-59. And then on Monday, the second half, we got Louisville beating Alabama 69-68. Virginia beats Iowa in double overtime 83-75. Notre Dame beat Ohio State 83-73. Kentucky beat West Virginia 74-73. UConn beat Syracuse 98-45. Vanderbilt beat Illinois 75-57. South Carolina beat USC 101-61. And UCLA beat Oklahoma State 87-68. So starting tomorrow, the 26th through the 30th, we got Sweet 16 and Elite 8 battles from both women's and men's college basketball. I figured while I'm still on the women's, let's just run through these predictions. Sweet 16, all will be broadcasted on ESPN, whether if it's in Sacramento or Fort Worth. We'll start with LSU. They're going to actually close out the first night for the women's Sweet 16. They play Duke 2 versus 3. Duke coming in this game 26-8. LSU is 29-5. The winner of this game will most likely play UCLA in the Elite 8. UCLA got Minnesota, where Minnesota's 24-8, UCLA 33-1. We'll start on that side of the bracket because these 2 games are in Sacramento. LSU big over Duke. I feel like Duke might keep it close, but Kim Mulkey's going to find a way to move them on to the Elite 8. I got LSU winning, but I put in my bracket, this is as far as I'm going to have LSU going, because if you look at UCLA, they're 33-1. I'm shocked they're not a perfect season right now. A heavy favorite outside of UConn to win a national championship. They're playing Minnesota. I don't think it's going to be close. All Big Ten matchup. Give me UCLA over Minnesota. Meanwhile, in Fort Worth, the first half of the Sweet 16, we got Notre Dame taking on Vanderbilt, 6 versus 2. Notre Dame 24-10, Vanderbilt 29-4. And usually Notre Dame has had a good powerhouse in girls basketball, but they've kind of fallen. Vanderbilt's been a little better, but this one, don't let the records fool you. But you know what? I'm going to ride with the SEC on this one too. Give me Vanderbilt to beat Notre Dame. And then on the other side, you got North Carolina taking on UConn. The Tar Heels are 28-7. UConn undefeated, 36-0. Not going to be close. Give me UConn to take care of North Carolina. Then the second half for the women will be on Saturday. They'll start at 11:30. We got Louisville and Michigan in Fort Worth. The Cards are 29-7. The Wolverines are 27-6. I have Michigan in my Final Four, so give me Michigan to beat Louisville. I got Louisville advancing. Then we get an all-SEC battle at 2. We got Kentucky and Texas. It's in Fort Worth. It's going to feel like a home game for the Longhorns. Austin's not that far away from Fort Worth. I'm going to go with the Longhorns. They're 33-3. They've beat South Carolina not once but twice. Give me the Longhorns against a 25-10 Kentucky team. While in Sacramento, we're getting another all-SEC battle. Oklahoma, South Carolina. Sooners are 26-7. Dawn Staley's Gamecocks are 33-3. But I have South Carolina going to the Final Four, unfortunately. And it starts by beating Oklahoma State, so I'm going with the Gamecocks. And then finally, for the women's Sweet 16, we got Virginia taking on TCU. Down in Sacramento, Virginia 22-11, TCU 31-5. Go, give me the Horned Frogs. TCU wins that. Elite Eight battles will be March 29th and 30th. I'll definitely keep you posted on that. I will possibly have another show coming Saturday, probably sometime Saturday morning, where I'm going to recap the Sweet 16 and we'll predict the Elite Eight for both the men and women. Now let's go ahead and jump. I didn't even change that there. There we go. All right, now let's go to the men's Sweet 16. We'll start with the team that's closing out the first night in Toyota. It's Houston, Illinois. 30-6 Cougars versus a 26-8 Fighting Illini. It's 2 versus 3. It's for the city, like this says. It's an H-Town. It's not even going to be close. Home field advantage. The only one I was worried about would be in Florida if they would have still been alive. But I feel like Houston is controlling their own destiny to get to Indianapolis to play in another Final Four. And they might be the luckiest ones to host. So you could say host the Sweet 16, even though Rice is technically hosting this regional final, which I think it should have been all colleges in Houston. Rice, Houston, Texas Southern, Houston Christian, all should be hosting this. Not just Rice, but go Cougs. Cougs move on to the Elite Eight to play the winner of this one. Iowa and Nebraska, they're going to play at 6:30. Nebraska being a big team, not just a Power 5, but a Big Ten team. Feels like a Cinderella team because they have never gotten past the first round, and now they're in the Sweet 16 for the first time ever with a chance to go to the Elite Eight for the first time ever. Against a Hawkeye team who took down the defending champs. Iowa's 9, Nebraska 4. Hawkeyes are 23-12. The Cornhuskers 28-6. Give us an all red Elite Eight battle. Give me Big Red. I'm going with Nebraska to beat Iowa. All our brackets are already busted anyway. And then meanwhile, Texas Purdue at 6:10. They're going to be playing this in San Jose, West Region. Longhorns 21-14, Purdue 29-8. I have Purdue going to the Elite Eight at least, so I'm going to stick with the Boilermakers. Give me Purdue to beat Texas. Arkansas and Arizona to close out in San Jose. Arkansas 28-8, Arizona 34-2. This could be a potential upset? Are we gonna? I don't know. I mean, Arkansas would really shock me if they pull it off against another team that's heavy favorite like Arizona. but I'm going with I have Arizona playing Houston in my national championship and all Big 12 battle. So give me the Wildcats. Arizona advances to the Elite Eight. While the second half, this will be on Friday. Unfortunately, I will not get to watch any of these matchups. I might get to catch a little bit of the very last game. I'm going to TNA Sacrifice this Friday in West Wego, just outside of New Orleans. So won't be able to watch a lot of basketball Friday. But I'm going to try and pay attention to what I can with this one. St. John's taking on Duke. The coaching battle right here. Patino versus Schreier. Patino knows this team really well. He's beaten Duke with Kentucky. He's beaten Duke with Louisville. He knows this team really well. And I think I would love nothing more. My bracket's already busted. At one point, I had Duke going to the Elite Eight, but since my bracket is busted and it don't really matter anymore, this is my Cinderella team right now. Give me St. John in an upset. Down goes another number 1 seed. Give me the Red Storm blowing in D.C. Give me St. John's upsets Duke and moves on to the Elite Eight. Wow, moving on, going to Chicago, Alabama, Michigan. By the way, St. John 30-6, Duke 34-2, but I'm good. That's my upset in the Sweet 16. Alabama, Michigan. Crimson Tide are 25-9, Michigan 33-3. Look, I'll tell you what. I know Alabama's getting tired of playing Michigan and shit, especially like in football. Remember, twice in 1 year, from New Year's Day to New Year's Eve, Michigan has beaten Alabama, beat Nick Saban. Not once, but twice. That's going to live rent-free in their head. Can you imagine if Michigan could do the same thing in basketball? Plus, I have Michigan going to the Final Four. So, do us a favor. Prevent this team trying to start a dynasty. I don't even think they ever have a national championship in basketball anyway. I don't even think they've ever been to the Final Four. And if they did, I don't think they ever got past the Final Four. But I don't have them going. Their season's going to fall in the Sweet 16. Give me Michigan to beat Alabama. Then we got Michigan State, UConn. Michigan State has been impressing me. Like, I've never counted them out in basketball. You know, that's one sport they've dominated. But when you have both Michigan and Michigan State being dominant together, I usually just go with Big Blue. But Michigan State's trying to make some noise, but I think this is where their season will fall. Michigan State's 27-7. UConn is 31-5. I have UConn also going to the Final Four. They're still alive, so I'm going to stick with that. Give me the Huskies over Michigan State. And then our final Sweet 16 game, I'll be able to catch the second half of this on my way out of Sacrifice. Tennessee, Iowa State. Iowa State 29-7. Tennessee 24-11. Iowa State's been making noise lately. Give me the Cyclones to move on to the Elite Eight. But I think that's where their season will end. So let them get past the Sweet 16. We move on to the Elite Eight, and we could go from there. And that'll do it for my Sweet 16 predictions there. Let's get an update on the NIT. I know they've just done the second round recently. The last time I talked, we talked first round, but they've done second round games on Saturday and Sunday. Not many, so these should not be too much to recap. There were two games on Saturday. Dayton beat UNC Wilmington 80-61. Nevada beat Liberty 73-63. While on Sunday, Illinois State beat Wake Forest 78-75. Auburn beat Seattle 91-85. Tulsa beat UNLV 77-66. New Mexico beat George Washington 86-61. Wichita State beat Oklahoma State 96-70. And St. Joseph's upsets Cal 76-75. We're currently in the quarterfinals. So we're only down to like 8 teams. Here's what we got so far. Tulsa beat Wichita State in the quarters, 83-79. New Mexico beat St. Joseph's, 84-69. Phone's being a little slow here while I get that re-uploaded. I know the semifinals for the NIT are supposed to be April 2nd, which is a Thursday. All right. We're down to our final quarterfinal game of the NIT. Illinois State beat Dayton 61-55. Auburn and Nevada are currently still playing. Auburn leading Nevada 42-37. The winner advances to the semifinals of the NIT, which will take place on Thursday, April 2nd. And I want to say the NIT championship might be Friday or Saturday, April 3rd, April 4th in MSG. I don't remember. They haven't announced the date yet. Actually, it ain't even in MSG no more. They're hosting it in Indianapolis as well. At Hinkle Fieldhouse at IUPUI. So, damn, they're having both the NIT and the Final Four for the men in Indy. Indy cooking. All right, and then we'll go ahead. It's the only last thing I got college basketball-wise to talk before I get to my normal routine. I'm going to quickly recap the WBIT of what we had so far. I know McNeese Cowgirls were playing in this tournament, and their season officially wrapped up. The second round started back on Sunday, and McNeese fell to San Diego State 56-41, but hats off to the McNeese Cowgirls. Overall record 29-6. Their season wrapped up, falling to the Aztecs 56-41. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with in the future, and wish them the very best during the offseason. Wisconsin beat Miami 72-65. Harvard beat Eastern Kentucky 63-34. Columbia beat North Dakota State 86-57. Stanford beat Quinnipiac 81-69. Kansas beat Rice 62-55. And Cal beat Kansas State 83-75. And then the final second round game that happened on Monday, BYU beat Mizzou 93-75. Today, I think it's the first. Actually, no, the quarterfinals start March 26th. And all the quarterfinal games will be that day. We got, I'll make a quick prediction here. San Diego State, Kansas. I'm going to go with San Diego State. I got Wisconsin over Harvard, BYU over Stanford, and Cal over Columbia. That's going to be my Final Four for the WBIT. Well, that's going to wrap up all the March Madness talk with everything from the NCAA tournament, NIT, WBIT. You'll hear more about it on Saturday. But let's go ahead and get to the actual talk. We'll go ahead and kick this off in H-Town. You guys ready to talk H-Town? Because I'm so Houston. Let's go, baby. Let's take it to the 713. Welcome to the land where it just don't stop. Trunks pop, tops drops, and front end hop. We're going to start this off with the Houston Dynamo. I should have wrote all this shit, but I didn't even write anything. Let's get this one out of the way. They've had the Texas Derby this past weekend in Dallas. They fell short to FC Dallas. 4-3 was the final. So the Dynamo are currently 2-0-2, 2 wins, 0 draws, and 2 losses. Let's look at the statistics in this Texas Derby. The Houston Dynamo, 45.4% possession, 4 shots on goal, 10 shot attempts, 14 fouls, 2 yellow cards, 1 red card? Really? It's a rivalry game. I figured that shit. 8 corner kicks and 3 saves against FC Dallas. All right, key events. Let's see. Let's see who scored. It was up 2-0 at one point. Dynamo scored their first goal within 29 minutes of play. Gilly Hearn hit a right-footed shot from the right side of the box to the bottom right corner. Then tied the game 2 minutes later. Tied the game courtesy of Eric. Oh, man. I'm going to just go ahead and play this now.
If one of y'all says some silly-ass name, this whole class is going to feel my wrath.
Oh, Eric Sviatchenko? Did I say it right? Sviatchenko. Somebody help me pronounce that. Eric hit a header from the center of the box to the top left corner, assisted by Gilliherm with a cross following a corner. And Dallas had the lead Dynamo had the lead at one point 2 minutes later. So they scored 3 goals within 5 minutes. Their third goal was courtesy of Lawrence Anale, who hit a right-footed shot from the right side of the 6-yard box to the bottom right corner, assisted by Gilliherm with a through ball. Then I want to say they ended up tying the game with 80. Oh, well, actually, no, they tied. When did they tie it? Am I missing something here? Okay, so it's 3-2 there. Halftime, it was 3-2 Houston. Oh, shit. Dallas scored courtesy of Dwayne Holmes. He scored his own goal, and that gave FC Dallas a goal awarded following a oh, my God. How do you score your own freaking goal? That's why it sounded confusing. Usually they throw a soccer ball in the corner if a goal was scored, but own goal? How does Dwayne Holmes score his own damn goal? And then Dallas took the lead in 86 minutes of play, and then they did play 7 extra minutes, and the Texas Derby in that one went to FC Dallas with the final score 4-3. Key errors, I mean, they didn't get their ass blown out. Trust me, they were dog shit a year ago. At least they're trying to be better, but they did play their final game of the month of March. They won't play again until Saturday, April 4th, when they welcome in the Seattle Sounders. So they get a weekend break. No game this week. They're back at home next Saturday with Seattle. Here's what else they got for the month of April. Only 2 home games. Seattle on April 4th. They go to Colorado on April 11th. They go to Orlando on April 18th. They host San Diego on April 22nd. That's actually a Wednesday night matchup. And Texas Derby Part 2 with Austin FC on April 25th, and it's in Austin. Dangerous place to play. So that's the updates I got on the Houston Dynamo. I'm about to smile big because I'm very excited to get to this next topic. Let me just change it right about now. You know, it's opening night. Baseball, MLB is finally here. I got some Astros talking update, but we got a bonus opening night game courtesy of Netflix. We got the New York Yankees taking on the San Francisco Giants. So I guess now MLB's got a partnership with Netflix, just like the NFL. But hear me out. How's this going to work? Are they going to actually play games every month on Netflix, or is this kind of just like the NFL on Christmas Day on Netflix? Because this is their first ever MLB game on Netflix. This is something new. Oh, look at this. Is that the fucking, I knew Jey Uso announced play ball. Is that Jimmy in the crowd? Is that Jacob Fatu on the right? But if you're not watching this game, you ain't missing much. Yankees are up 7-0 in the top of the 8th. Bruh, that is Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu in the crowd talking with the Netflix announcer. You know, Jey Uso announced the play ball shit, and Yankees are whipping their ass. If the Yankees could stay healthy, they could be a potential World Series contender. Could potentially dominate the American League and so forth. And potentially could end that three-peat for the Dodgers and prevent a damn strike going on in 2027. But MLB's finally here. Tomorrow, it's officially opening day for every single team outside of the Yankees and the Giants. The Houston Astros take the field at Daikin Park for a 4-game series with a division foe like the Angels of Anaheim. And I am so thrilled. Matter of fact, it's going to be an outstanding day in Houston, not with just the Sweet 16 going on, the Houston Open in golf, but we also got opening day of baseball at Daikin Park, Astros, Angels. I want to see what who the Angels got on their starting lineup on the mound, for which I've said for days it was Hunter Brown that's going to be on the mound on opening day, and we've actually got the official pitching lineup for the first 4 days. So it's going to be Hunter Brown versus Jose Soriano on the mound on opening night. Now, here's how the rotation could work out. In playing, we know Hunter Brown is on the mound for opening day, but we could see pitching rotations. I actually had the list right here. I know Bryce Abreu was one of those guys. We could see possibly rotate with Hunter Brown. Let me get that up. Actually had this list here. They had a list of pitchers that possibly could be in rotation. Brian Abreu be one. AJ Blowball could be another. Brian King, Lance McCullers Jr., Roddery Munoz, Stephen Okert, Christian Roya, Kaiwei Ting and Ryan West are all rotating pitchers for this weekend. Possibly we could see a number of these guys in rotation on opening night, relieving Hunter Brown after his duties on opening night. But I could confirm on day 2 of Astros-Angels on Friday, we're going to have none other than Mike Burrows on the mound for the second game with the Angels. He's going to be lined up against, let's see who the Angels got starting opening day. Yusei Kikuchi. Did I say the name right? Yusei Kikuchi and Mike Burrows on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I called it for the Astros. Saturday, I said it was been Christian Javier, and it is. Saturday's lineup, Christian Javier versus Reed Detmers. And Sunday, all eyes will be on the Astros. While the Angels will be starting Jack Kochinowick, we get the debut of the international sensation Tetsuya Imai. I called it. He's starting on Sunday against the Angels, and I'm very hyped. I can't wait to see what this guy does on American soil. But here's could be the rotation on opening day for lineup. We know that Jeremy Pena will not start opening day with his injured finger, but he is expected to make his return on Saturday, Game 3 against the Angels. So Christian Walker will be starting first on opening day for the Astros. We got Jose Altuve starting second. Could be in rotation with Bryce Matthews. Carlos Correa starting shortstop in replacement. He could be rotating with, is it Nick? Did I say his name right? Nick Aller? No, Nick Allen. I'm sorry. Nick Allen could be rotating at shortstop with Correa. Isaac Paredes will be starting third, but we might could see maybe Bryce Matthews maybe rotating at third as well one of those days if you don't play second. Because in the outfield, you got Cam Smith, Yordan Alvarez, and Jake Myers in the outfield. Joey Laperfido will be rotating either left or right. If he rotates with Cam Smith, we could see Jose Altuve rotating to right field to take Jake Myers, give him a little break, and then we could see where they would, if that would happen, then I could see Bryce Myers rotating at second. But if Jose stays at second throughout the night, Bryce Matthews could be rotating with Paredes at third. That's your rotating lineup. And at catcher, you got Yander Diaz and Christian Vázquez. That's the only catchers we got on rotating opening night. Yander Diaz, Christian Vázquez. Going to be a great, great weekend. I'm hoping not only do we get some wins, we like to start off, not just start off 1-0. There's nothing better than starting off opening day 1-0. I'd like a sweep. It's going to be tough because despite the season we had a year ago, not making the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Last time they didn't make the playoffs, 2016. And they didn't make it in 2025. Hopefully things will change. We got a better team this year. We'll see what happens with Esperanto's Astros, but hopefully it's going to be a much better season. I'm very excited. Hopefully this team can impress me and satisfy me more than LSU is right now. That's another conversation I'll get to later. Also, for all you big baseball lovers, if you have the ESPN app, you now have the power of baseball in the palm of your hands like every other sport. Because ESPN has also acquired MLB TV, so let's say you're a Yankees fan living in the West Coast, you're a Dodgers fan living in the East Coast. You could be an Astro living up north. You could be a Cubs fan down in the South. You got ESPN Unlimited. You can watch any baseball matchup on MLB TV anytime, on demand, anytime. You got ESPN Unlimited. You got the power in the palm of your hands, either with the remote control or your phone. You got it at home. You got it on the go, like the name of this show. Despite the shit talk we give ESPN app with being $30-something a month, that's the best $30 I'm spending a month because now I can watch every MLB game, every NHL game, every college football, basketball, baseball, softball matchup. And if you're a wrestling fan, you get all the WWE PLEs on ESPN app. So if you don't have it, I highly recommend you get it. Even if you got Disney, you can get a bundle subscription with ESPN Plus, that's ESPN Plus, ESPN Unlimited with Disney and Hulu. Go check it out. I wish I had a promo code to give you for that, but if you don't have ESPN or even the ESPN bundle with Disney, get it now if you want all the action. it's worth the $30. That's all the Astros talk I got for now. You'll hear a little bit more in a couple days, but let's go ahead and continue this H-Town talk. Speaking of basketball, let's go ahead and talk Houston Rockets. Get the lighters out because it is time to light the fuse.
Light it up, light it up, light it up, light the fuse, light it up, light it up. Taking out like a rocket. Light it up, light it up, light it up, light the fuse, light it up, light it up, taking out like a rocket.
This is Light the Fuse, where we talk Houston Rockets basketball, and I know I haven't really been watching Rockets basketball lately, but let's kind of recap what's happened. I think the last time I came on, I talked their back-to-back losses with the Lakers, which currently right now, after the back-to-back loss with the Lakers, they did get a 2-game win streak. Last Friday on the 20th, if I didn't talk about it or not, they beat the Miami Heat 123-122. But on Monday, they fell to the Chicago Bulls 132-124. They're currently playing the Timberwolves right now on ESPN. Matter of fact, I think I've watched enough. This ain't even close. This is it. 7-0, bottom of the 8th. Yankees are kicking the Giants' ass. Let's go ahead and put this game on while we at it. Let's look at some quick numbers here. Let's see how they did. Let's see how they did in that win against the Hawks. Let's see some numbers here. Kevin Durant led in that game with 25 points. Tyree Easton led in rebounds with 10, and Şengün led in assists with 10 assists and 6 turnovers in their victory against the Atlanta Hawks. Kevin Durant also had 3 rebounds, 6 assists in that game. Jabari Smith, 23 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Şengün, 15 points. Min Thompson and Reed Shepherd, 14 points. Tyree Easton, 10 points against the Atlanta Hawks. Their loss to the Bulls. Let's see. Kevin Durant, 40 points he led in that game. Şengün led in rebounds with 13 and assists with 10, plus 2 turnovers. Şengün also had 33 points against the Bulls. Jabari Smith only had 6. Amin Thompson, 23. Reed Shepherd, 13 points. Tyree Easton, 4 points against the Bulls. Currently, right now, they're trailing the Timberwolves 39-36 with nearly 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. So that's what we got so far in our update on the Rockets. But what's coming up next for the rest of the month of March? They got 3 games left. They're in Memphis taking on the Grizzlies this Friday at 7. They're in New Orleans on Sunday, the 29th, against the Pels at 6 p.m. And they close out the month of March with a matchup at home against the New York Knicks, and you can watch it on NBC and Peacock, 7 p.m. tip-off there. And then they'll have 7 games left in the month of April in the regular season. So currently the Houston Rockets overall in the lead. They're 10th overall in the lead, while in the Western Conference they are currently 6th. And the division, well, it's already locked in. The San Antonio Spurs have won the Southwest Division, while the Rockets are in runner-up. Pelicans came in 3rd, but they're already eliminated from playoff contention. The Grizzlies are 4th, trying to keep their hopes alive to make a wild card, and the Dallas Mavericks have been eliminated and in last place. So good news on the Pels side. They're not in last place in the division anymore, but we already knew they wasn't going to make the playoffs. Current leaders in games this season, well, nothing changed here. Kevin Durant still leading in points, averaging 25.9 points per game. Şengün still leading in rebounds and assists, averaging 9 rebounds a game and 6.2 assists per game, and averaging 1 block per game. He also leads in blocks this season. And Reed Shepherd leads in steals this season, averaging 1.5 steals per game. So nothing changed there. That's all still the same there. And that's all the Rockets talk I have. I do have one more thing I'm going to talk Houston before we move down across I-10. I also mentioned it is open. It is the first weekend of the UFL. And yes, Houston has a team. I didn't forget about it, but it's on at a decent time where I could watch it. So we got week 1 of the UFL. And UFL, you can watch games on either Fox or ESPN. There's only 8 teams, so there's going to be 4 games a week, 4 games a weekend, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, unless they do play one Friday game. You might get one Sunday, 2 Saturday. That's what we got for week 1. So the 2026 UFL season opens up Friday, March 27th at 7 p.m. Central on Fox. We got the Birmingham Stallions, who's got a rich history of winning championships when they were still in the XFL, USFL. They're taking on a newly franchised the Louisville Kings. They must be playing in Louisville FC's football stadium because everyone in this league except the Battlehawks are playing in MLS stadiums. Literally everyone except them and the Dallas Renegades. The Dallas Renegades are playing in an old former baseball park, Choctaw Stadium, former home of the Rangers. But this is kind of like welcome to the big leagues. Louisville got themselves a little minor semi-pro football team. I'm going to go with the Stallions to blow out the Louisville Kings. Saturday, we got the best rivalry of the UFL. We got the DC Defenders taking on the St. Louis Battlehawks. You can watch Saturday at noon on ESPN, and it's at the Dome. That's the best fan base. A lot of people say, oh, the battle of the fan bases. DC's known for the beer snake. But there's no passionate fans like St. Louis. They took the Rams away from them. They still let them keep the stadium. That's where the Battlehawks are playing. They could paint that baby blue, and you know what? Give me the Battlehawks because I really don't give shit for DC either. I'm going with the Battlehawks. Then Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, we got a all-Texas battle. We got the Houston Gamblers, no longer the Houston Roughnecks, taking on the Renegades. Now back as the Dallas Renegades instead of Arlington. I'm riding. I got to ride with H-Town. I'm so Houston. Like Zero says. Gamblers win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose. And then finally on Sunday, we got a Sunday night game. That also features 2 new franchises. The Columbus Aviators taking on the Orlando Storm. This is a flip a coin for me, but you know what? I'm going to go. I've picked two road teams so far and picked one. I'm going to keep it even. I'm going to go with the Storm at home. Make it even, 2 home and 2 road there. But that does all the H-Town talk. Let's go ahead and go to the 337 so I can talk some baseball in Southwest Louisiana. Let's go. All right, we are now in the 337, and this is my edition I call Baseball in Southwest Louisiana, where I give you a couple of scores that happened to its series from our local baseball and softball teams. We'll go ahead and start with McNeese baseball. No, softball. We'll start with them first. Currently, right now, they're 20-13 overall. Sadly, they're now on a 5-game losing streak. They're 13-5 at home, 6-7 on the road. But they're currently now on a losing streak. After getting swept by Nichols last weekend, they lost to the Raging Cajuns in a 5-2 this past Tuesday. They go back in conference play this weekend. They're back at Cowgirl Diamond. They bring in Incarnate Word out of San Antonio Friday at 6 and a doubleheader Saturday at 1 o'clock and 3 p.m. That's all they got until next weekend when they're back at home against Southeastern Louisiana. Hopefully the Cowgirls can pick back up and get better. Now let's look at McNeese baseball, where not looking too good right now. They're currently 13-12. They're 6-6 in the Southland Conference, 7-9 at the Joe. Better record on the road. They're 6-3 on the road. But last weekend, they won a series with Southeastern, won 2 out of 3. This past Tuesday, they welcomed Southern at the Joe. They fell 6-2, but they got made up today. They welcomed in the Wildcats of Louisiana Christian. They got back in the winning ways, beating the Wildcats 11-1. And what's next for the Cowboys? Well, they're back at the Joe this weekend. They welcome in another set of Wildcats. They welcome Abilene Christian. Is this a conference game? I think this is a this can't be this is a non-conference series. So They're going into conference break. They welcome in Abilene Christian, 6 p.m. Friday, 2 p.m. Saturday, noon on Sunday. And makeup game. They were supposed to play the Raging Cajuns back at the beginning of March. That game was postponed. But they show them playing on March 31st at 4 p.m., but it's at the Geaux. Is this the makeup game, or they already had them scheduled twice? That's what I haven't figured out yet. Any UL or McNeese diehard, let me know there. But they're going to play them at the Geaux March 31st. Every time the Cajuns and the Cowboys play, it's always a sold-out crowd. It's a rivalry, 337. Get them tickets now. As I've been to this matchup before, they sell out quick. And by the second inning, it is slam full. You cannot move in that motherfucker. Whether if it's at the Geaux or at the Teague, it's always a packed house. Until next weekend when they go to New Orleans to play the Privateers. So that's it for the Pokes. Raging Cajuns, which currently are the best team in college baseball in the state. That's Division I. They're not doing too bad themselves. They're 17-8 overall, but their conference record not good. They're 2-4 in the Sun Belt, 13-4 at the Teague, 4-4 on the road. Let's see what happened this past week. Last weekend, they went to Texas State, got swept by the Bobcats. By the way, 4-1 on Friday, 11-4 on Saturday, 16-6 on Sunday. That explains why they got knocked out the top 25 so quick. But they picked up a win over Southeastern. They got a win over the Lions 9-3. It's rivalry weekend. They welcome UL Monroe at the Teague. 6 p.m. on Friday, 2 p.m. on Saturday, 1 p.m. on Sunday, and then, of course, the matchup with McNeese on Tuesday. I think they could sweep UL Monroe, or unless UL Monroe might actually get a win. They're not really that good in baseball, I can tell you that. Meanwhile, LSU Eunice, best junior college team, I say it every year. 22-5 right now. They did take a loss not long ago. They're 19-4 at home at Cajun Prairie, 3-1 on the road. But they finally played a road series last week. They went to Panola College down in Carthage. They did win the series 2 out of 3. They won the first game 22-11. They won the second game 10-1, but they dropped the first game 7-6. It's just 6-7 on my screen here. But this weekend, it's rivalry weekend, 4-game series with the BRCC Bears, Baton Rouge Community College. 7 p.m. on Friday, a doubleheader on Saturday, 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. and Sunday they wrap it up at 1, and it's going to be at Bengal Stadium, whatever. I think it's still called Bengal Stadium. Get them tickets now. It's always fun. I wish I could go to this matchup. And then that does it. That's it for baseball in Southwest Louisiana. All right, let's go ahead and let's go to Tigerland so I can do my bitching and complaining about LSU. You guys ready? Let's go. How you like that? I know don't look like Alex Box, but this is what Chat GPT has made me, but I'll keep it. I'll take it. But this is the 225, and I'm here to do my LSU baseball softball rant. Oh, boy. Thank God the Astros are starting tomorrow, and hopefully I said they can satisfy me. Because LSU really isn't satisfying me. Yeah, they got a win the other night. You're supposed to win those games. But as of right now, still no longer in the top 25. Their overall record is 17-9. You're 13-6 at the box. You're 1-3 on the road. But your SEC record is atrocious. You are 2-4 in the SEC. You haven't even won a goddamn series yet. You fall to Vanderbilt a couple weekends back. You got back in your winning ways, winning the final game, and then you beat Grambling 7-1 on St. Patty's Day. You host Oklahoma this past weekend, who's the number 7 seed, and I called it. I said Oklahoma was going to give us hell. We got the first game 7-1 in the bag. But 2 games we should have won. We dropped the second game 4-2 and dropped the final game 4-3. But got back in the win column with Louisiana Tech, beating the Bulldogs 15-5 and finishing it in 8 innings. Now you got Kentucky, who is also, well, the second series with a top 25 SEC team. Kentucky is now number 21 in the top 25, which shocks me. 6:30 on Friday, 2 p.m. on Saturday, 12 p.m. on Sunday. I'm pretty sure you can watch them on SEC Network, ESPN, and so forth. I haven't even seen nothing yet. I might watch some of them, but to be honest with you, they have not been impressing me lately. Their pitching is dog shit. They can't swing for shit right now. Like, I ain't never been so embarrassed with this damn team. But hopefully they could bounce back. And then you got Southern again on March 31st. That's what you got until next weekend when you play Tennessee on the road. But let's see. Let's look at some numbers right now. Let's see current numbers for LSU as of right now for the 2026 season. All right. So, Ian, how many total? However many total games, 17-9. In 26, was this 26 games? In 26 games, in hitting, we've had a total of 219 runs, 240 hits, 46 doubles, 4 triples, 37 home runs, 190 RBIs, 162 base on balls, 2 intentional walks. They've hit 44 players, 198. They've struck out 198 times. 17 grounded into double plays, 12 sacrifice flies, 6 sacrifice hits, 24 stolen bases, and was caught stealing 5 times, and their batting average is .283. Now, the pitching crew in 26 games, they've only allowed 180 hits, 131 runs, 116 errors, 115 base on balls, 332 strikeouts. That's the only positive number I got. It gets bigger and bigger, but they've also allowed 32 doubles, 1 triple. They've allowed 19 home runs this season. They have had 36 wild pitches, no balks, shockingly. They've hit 32 batters. They've also allowed 2 intentional walks. They've also allowed 7 saves, and their ERA this season is 4.69. Got to do better than that. I'm good with the strikeouts, but everything else we got to fix. This is fucking insane. If we don't go to Omaha as the defending champ this year, I'm going to shit a chicken. Intentionally. While on the softball side, softball is currently 22-10. Their SEC record's shit. They're 3-6, but they're on a 3-game win streak. They're 17-2 at home, 4-4 on the road. They're currently right now 20. They moved up 2 spots. No, they're 22. I'm sorry. 20. Shit. We're 22, but now they're 20. Last weekend, they went to South Carolina, won the series, though. They dropped the first game 6-5, went in extra innings, but they got the win on Saturday 5-1 and 2-1 on Sunday. Shut out Louisiana Tech Tuesday 9-0 with 5 innings. And then this weekend, they welcome Oklahoma, who is the number 5 team in the country. And if you don't know Oklahoma, they're like the best college softball team in the country. Countless national championships. I don't like their chances. I would not be surprised if they get swept. I'll be shocked if they at least get one win or, hell, win the freaking series. They won't sweep them. But 6 p.m. on Friday and 11 a.m. Saturday and Sunday on the 28th and 29th. And then they don't go back and play again until Easter weekend when they go to Missouri. So that's it for my rant on college baseball and softball. Actually, let me get something typed up because I'm actually going to bring NASCAR up later, but I know I haven't really been keeping up with it. But, I'll get the rest of it done in a bit. Let's go ahead and jump to New Orleans because I got some news updates that involves the New Orleans Pelicans, some positive news. So let's go ahead and not just go to the 504. Let's jump straight into some Pelicans talk and take flight. Let's go. Oh, shit. Here's the video. Oh, sorry about that. All right. This is Take Flight, and we are in the 504 to talk to New Orleans Pelicans. I know they've played some games recently. Let's see what they've had since last week. They've only played 3 games. They've won 1 out of 3. Well, I already talked about the Clippers game. But after that, they've lost back-to-back. They lost to the Cavs 111-106 on Saturday. And then last night, they went to MSG and fell to the Knicks 121-116. Let's see some numbers in this. Zion led in the Cavs game. Zion led with 25 points. Yves Missi led in rebounds with 10, and DeJounte Murray led in assists with 9 assists and 2 turnovers. And then their loss to the Knicks last night. Zion led in that game with 22 points. Trey Murphy led in rebounds with 6, and DeJounte Murray led in assists with 12 with a turnover. What's next for the Pels? Tomorrow night, they go to the Motor City. They play the Detroit Pistons. Friday, they go to Toronto to play the Raptors. Sunday, they're back at home against the Rockets, and that's what they got left for the month of March. And 6 games for the remainder of the season and in April there. But here's some big news I got for the Pelicans. I know there's a big, massive upgrade coming to the Smoothie King Center. I don't know when it starts, but I know they're about to shake things up. New seats, new suites, new concession areas, new bars and all that good stuff, new dining areas. They're going to transform the Smoothie King Center into some Omega venue like they did with the Superdome. And just think, with that upgrade, the New Orleans could bring in some more revenue. I mean, they could bring back another NBA All-Star. They could bring back another Final Four for men's or women's. They can host bigger names in music and entertainment, bring WWE back again, bring the UFC back again. I mean, hell, we got WWE coming in September for Money in the Bank. Weird fucking month to have that, by the way, but this is going to draw some revenue and bring more money to the city. And if the rumors are true, maybe a hockey team in the NHL. I know they've really been trying to put a hockey team in New Orleans, but the last I heard, I really don't believe it's going to happen. To be honest with you, they don't give a shit about fucking hockey in New Orleans. Look how the New Orleans Brass did. That wasn't shit. That's the only positive news I'm going to give you right there. They're about to give a huge makeover to the Smoothie King Center, make it super badass. I can't wait to see, I wish I could see some more info about it and see some more 3D pics of what it's going to look like. But as of right now, let's look at the current standings for the New Orleans Pelicans. We already know they're 3rd in their division and eliminated from playoff contention. While in the Western Conference, they are 11th. They're just right below the line of making the playoffs, but we know they're not going to make it. The record is not good enough to even make it, 25-48. And then overall in the league, they're 8th to last. So where all the elimination parts start, they're on top. them, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Jazz, Kings, Nets, Wizards, Pacers. So Pacers are still the worst team in the NBA right now. Pelicans are a lot better than them. And current stat leaders right now for the Pelicans, Trey Murphy now leading in points this season, averaging 21.7 points per game, surpassing Zion. Trey Murphy also leads in assists this season, averaging 3.8 assists per game. Derek Queen leads in rebounds, averaging 6.8 rebounds per game. Herb Jones is leading in steals, averaging 1.7 steal per game. And Yves Missy leads in blocks this season, averaging 1.5 blocks per game. And that's all the talk I have on Pelicans basketball. I got one more thing I'm going to bring up. I haven't really talked NASCAR lately. I know I didn't bring up the Pennzoil 400 in Vegas, but I'm going to just do a quick rundown of that to tell you how I decided to go back to this. So this is only my second time using this overlay because, shout out to Adam making me this one. So I might rotate around. You'll see that one, but I'm going to close out with this overlay. Let's go back to Vegas. The Pennzoil 400. That race went to Denny Hamlin. Go back to Ryan Braley, who won the Phoenix Raceway. So Denny Hamlin took first place in Vegas, with Chase Elliott coming in second, William Byron finishing third. Where stage 2 went to William Byron, Kyle Larson at second, Christopher Bell at third, and stage 1 went to Christopher Bell at first, Kyle Larson at second, and Denny Hamlin at third. That's what we had there. But the main question, let's talk about what happened in Darlington. Let's talk about the Goodyear 400. Guess who's back winning races again? Guess who won his 4th race this season? Not a wild guess. Tyler Reddick in 2311 wins his first race since the Grand Prix, winning the the Goodyear 400 in Darlington. Where is Darlington at? I thought that was like in North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? Well, yeah, Tyler Reddick came in first. No, South Carolina. That's in the Carolinas. He wins Darlington with Brad Keselowski in second and Ryan Blaney finishing third. Stage 2 went to Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher at second, and Kyle Larson at third. And Brad Keselowski, stage 1. First place, Tyler Reddick at second, Ryan Blaney at third. I need to update that. All right, well, here's what's coming up next in NASCAR. We got this Sunday, the Cookout 400, Martinsville Speedway in Richway, Virginia. They head out east. But man, when we get to April, there'll be no race the first weekend of April, courtesy of Easter. But after Easter weekend, Bristol, Kansas, Talladega, and kicking off the month of May with Texas. So there you have it. After the Cookout 400, we got Easter break, get a week off, Food City 500 in Bristol, the Event Hell 400 in Kansas, Jack Link's 500 in Talladega, and of course the Worth 400 presented by Liquid Moly in Fort Worth. Oh yeah, these next 4. Oh, shit, it's going to be a good time to watch races. I'm going to have to start gambling again on the races. But that's going to wrap up tonight's show. I'm about to tap out. This was great. Thank y'all for tuning in. I had a hectic week, by the way. I have been on the air every single day this week, and it's going to continue. Since midnight on Saturday, I've been on the air. And I went on air at midnight to recap first round and all that shit. Sunday, by the way, I would call it a big announcement. I've been talking about it for weeks. I got a brand new wrestling podcast, a part of Dirty South Entertainment, the Cajun Turnbuckle podcast. I recorded my first audio episode on Sunday, and the episode will drop on all audio platforms this Friday, March 27th. You can listen wherever you get your podcasts: Google Pod, Apple Pod, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Wherever you get it, you can find it. Cajun Turnbuckle Podcast. My debut episode, I'm talking the greatest WrestleMania of all time, WrestleMania 17. Monday, we did our annual baseball show since we're no longer doing a UFL show, but we now are the Misfit Managers, but fans of the Diamond every Monday night. We did a show Monday. Last night is Tuesdays our open mic night. I did that. I got this show tonight. Tomorrow, shout out to Charles and Ravory Sports. Rav, I'm going to be on his show tomorrow night as a guest. Friday morning, I will be on Ken and Ken in the morning once again on the Huddle Sports Network at 10 a.m. Central. Be sure to check that out. I love coming hang out with Ken and Ken in the morning. And then Saturday, I'm going to be doing another show of On The Go where I'm recapping the Sweet 16, predicting the Elite Eight, and even talking a little bit of Astros baseball that happened. And I'm going to wrap up Saturday night with another recording of the Cajun Turnbuckle Podcast where I'm going to do another WrestleMania. So it's been a busy week, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Shout out to everyone, Driving to the Top Productions. Shout out to Huddle Sports Network for wanting to collab with Dirty South Entertainment. We appreciate it, and we're going to continue to grow and make this a big sensation. But thank y'all for tuning in. God bless y'all. Peace, love, them out. God bless baseball. God bless y'all. God bless America. God bless everything. I will catch y'all guys if you're not tuning in tomorrow night on Rav Sports or Ken and Ken. I'll catch you guys Saturday. Probably around 10, 11 o'clock Central. I'll do a recap of the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight and predict the Elite Eight. So be on the lookout for that. So that'll be March 28th. You know what? I'm going to shoot for 10 a.m. I got my nephew and godchild's birthday party Saturday. So about 10 a.m., March 28th, I'll be back on this for On The Go. But peace, love, I'm out. I'll catch you guys Saturday morning. Y'all have a good week.